What did you make, Sid, of the last 24 hours since we heard the news?
I was watching college basketball. I saw a tweet. This is around 2:30. Saw a tweet from Andrew Siciliano of NFL Network. And it was one of the most chilling things I have ever read in my life in 2020, in the social media age. And this is all he said. I hope TMZ's account was just hacked.
Right.
When that's the sentence, something's up. And again, I want to go back to, because I was watching Sportsnet's lead into the Raptors and the Spurs yesterday, to Paul Jones, Jack, Sherm, Eric, Matty D, Leo, everyone who's on air at the time, and everyone here at Sportsnet 590 The Fan, everyone here on air had to process and work simultaneously. I'm on my couch, I can't believe this happened.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything, and I can't believe this happened. But the thing that I did notice was nothing else mattered. The Grammys happened last night. Didn't matter. Anyone who watched that show, there was no energy in it at all, despite Alicia Keys trying her best, and I applaud her for it. It didn't matter. Tiger was like 5 shots back at Torrey Pines. Didn't matter. Raptors won. They're second in the East. Didn't matter. None of it mattered. That's the one thing I kept noticing throughout the nothing else mattered.
Big stories were overshadowed by this. Because there were, to be fair, and again, this is probably my mindset, and I'm projecting it here, and I never want to do that because everyone grieves in different ways. But there are other things that matter.
It is your show, Timmy.
But there are other things that matter, right? Their lives go on, life goes on, and we all kind of understand that. But with this, it was so big, and it was so, like, to have the Grammys at the Staples Center, to have Kobe's numbers hanging in the rafters while you were doing it, just seemed to overshadow so much. For Greg Popovich to walk out after the game and say, yeah, tough loss, doesn't matter. He literally said that, right? Like, he came out and said, I really appreciate you guys giving our locker room some time to digest this. One of the best in the game, Mike Breen, who is the voice of the NBA on ESPN, and thus ABC, and the lead voice of the New York Knicks.
On MSG,
went out to do a New York Knicks Brooklyn Nets game, which normally stirs a little bit of a rivalry. Listen to Mike Breen's voice as he tries to come to grips with what they are attempting to do in the aftermath of finding out that Kobe Bryant has passed away.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks and Nets will play on this unbelievably sad day for the NBA. And Clyde, on my way into the arena, I thought of Bill Gallo. Gallo is the legendary sports cartoonist that when Thurman Munson passed away, the next day he had an unbelievably touching cartoon. And it was his 2 characters that he had, Basement Bertha and Yucky. And the cartoon read, Basement Bertha saying, no, Yucky, I just don't feel like playing ball today. And she was crying. And that's the way I think a lot of us feel here tonight. Just don't feel like broadcasting. I know a lot of the players, don't feel like playing. It's just a sad, sad day.
In the Mecca of basketball, no less, Madison Square Garden. Even going further back to Saturday, almost seems surreal now in hindsight.
LeBron on ABC Saturday night passes Kobe for 3rd on the all-time scoring list. Monumental achievement. So Saturday became a tribute for Kobe immediately. And I want to take you back because LeBron James has not spoken publicly yet. He has not tweeted. He's posted anything on social media. We can only imagine what's going on in the walls of the Lakers family right now. But I want to take you back to Saturday and just to hear LeBron wax poetic, honestly, about Kobe Bryant and what he meant to the game. It's extremely relevant in this moment. Let's play it for you.
I'm happy to be in any conversation with Kobe being Bryant, one of the all-time greatest basketball players to ever play, one of the all-time greatest Lakers. The man got 2 jerseys hanging up in Staples Center. It's just crazy.
Again, that was LeBron Saturday night after passing Kobe in Kobe's hometown of Philadelphia for 3rd on the all-time NBA scoring list.
He had Mamba for life on his shoe on Saturday night. Like, it's just, when you look back at so many things, it's almost surreal. Like I said.
Speaking of surreal, Timmy, I want to stay Saturday for a moment and not just play you that LeBron, but Dwight Howard of the Lakers also spoke.
Yeah.
Spoke of his respect for LeBron and spoke of his respect for Kobe. And then, rather unsolicited, but this gives me chills every time I hear it in hindsight, he goes into, let's love each other now. Let's show each other respect now while we have the opportunity. And the next voice you hear is Dwight Howard. I'll just let him go down that road.
I just think it's amazing. I just sat in the back and just thought about how amazing it is to be third all time in the NBA in scoring. That's a big accomplishment, and I think that's something that should be appreciated. I think we don't appreciate each other as much as we should as humanity, and I think something like that should be appreciated. We should appreciate people while they're alive.
Are you kidding me?
That's unbelievable.
That was Saturday. That was less than 12 hours from Kobe's death.
Last night at the Grammys, wasn't that the basis of Tanya Tucker's song?
Yeah. What was it about the flowers? Forgive me.
Bring me flowers before I'm gone.
Yeah. That was the track. That's basically it. It was one tie-in after another that I couldn't believe before and after the accident.
Yeah. The one part.
Man,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I got nothing else.
I was going to say the one part that struck me from yesterday was, and I don't think I've ever seen anything like it in my life. It was surreal to see, and I keep using the word surreal, but I'll struggle to find another one. Multiple players, multiple coaches crying on the court, like playing through the type of pain that we see maybe for one player when they lose someone close, but 10, 20, 30, 50, like Tim Duncan in a place where they hated Kobe Bryant because of their battles with him, all trying to contain their emotions. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before in my life. Alpha dogs, right? Showing emotion en masse for one of the biggest dogs of them all in Kobe Bryant.
You saw it all over the league, and especially before the Raptor game.
Right.
When the guys went up to DeMar, it was quite. The visuals that came out of the NBA in those arenas over the last 24 hours were quite something.
So the Knicks and Nets end up playing their game. Kyrie Irving did not play in that game. He was so distraught about the death of Kobe Bryant, which brought up a question that many people were talking about. Should they have played the games yesterday?
Look, if the news broke any later, the league would have had a problem. And you can argue the league had a problem anyway, because there were guys out there who didn't want to be out there. It was pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I think, listen, I don't deal with arena availabilities in the NBA. They're tricky. There's realities to that, but there's also realities to what we saw yesterday. And I thought, to be fair to everybody, postponing the day's schedule and playing it the Friday of All-Star Weekend or that Monday after, and the players don't get the extra day off because things happen, I think may have been appropriate, but somewhere along the line, Adam Silver and company decided against it. I'm not in the room, but it broke my heart to see guys have to go out there. The Nuggets and the Rockets had an hour's heads up on this. An hour. They were on at 3:30. The Raptors game was 4 Eastern. I don't think they should have played yesterday, personally, but I'm not making those decisions.
Isn't that, though, the ultimate honoring of Kobe Bryant? Like, what would Kobe have said if they said, hey, we're going to cancel games the day that you pass away?
Yeah.
Like, go out there and compete.
We know what Kobe would have said.
Yeah. And this is the interesting part of this, because the Lakers and Clippers play tomorrow. And I can't even imagine what the emotion in that building would be like. And I'm not telling anyone how to grieve, because it is entirely singular. But could it not be good for everyone to get? I don't know if it's too early, but could it not be good for everyone to get into the same building and have a moment like that in a venue like that?
Yeah, I mean,
with those two teams like this,
I'm leaning in your direction on that, Tim. in terms of having the Lakers at home with the other LA team and and everyone knowing what Kobe meant to the city? I mean, I would say yes. And I think they're going to play the game. I think this talk of them not playing the game tomorrow is ridiculous. I think they're going to play the game.
Well, our good friend Mark Spears went to Twitter and said as much. He thinks the game should be canceled, and I don't think he's alone.
I'm not debating him on that. All I'm saying is, if they played yesterday, they're going to play tomorrow. If they don't postpone games yesterday
or tonight,
then get the whole postponement conversation out your mouth, because it's not happening. It just isn't.
So, what will you remember most about the life and the career of Kobe Bryant? What are your Kobe Bryant memories? Because I wouldn't mind turning this show into that.
Yeah,
and I know we've already done it on Twitter.
Let's do that.
And I'm already getting smiles thinking about what these people are talking about.
Mine is more of a macro. Michael Jordan walks away from the Bulls in '98, right? That 10-part doc is coming out in June. That's going to be unbelievable. But that season, so Michael Jordan wins another title, gone. Phil Jackson, gone. All I kept thinking about as a young basketball fan in that time was, so what's next?
Yeah.
Because you had Magic, you had Larry, you had Jordan, and I'm like, is it Zydrunas Ilgauskas? Like, what is next?
Yeah.
What is
who is going to take the torch?
I referenced that because I just went through Kobe's draft year in '96, and then the Lakers arrive like that. 4 finals in 5 years. They won 3 of them. And I know Shaq and Kobe were the duo, but there's a reason Shaq isn't the global superstar that Kobe is. I'm sorry. He isn't.
Yeah.
Kobe was the flair. Kobe was why you bought a ticket. People didn't pay to watch Shaq get 15 rebounds. People paid to watch Kobe. And that era really bridged the gap, because what LeBron's rookie season was, what, 03?
Yeah.
Right? Like, there was a moment where you didn't know what was going to happen from a superstar standpoint in the NBA, and Kobe said, I got it. Had to fight with Shaq a bit along the way. But that, to me, is my biggest memory. I'm not going to say he saved the league, but he was very important in that progression into the next generation. I'll always remember Kobe for that.
For me, he was a complicated superstar, but many are, right? He was among the best to ever do it, and do it he did. I mean, with every single fiber in his being. 24 wasn't simply one of the numbers he wore. It was the number of hours a day he put into the game, right? Like, in everything he did, he put absolutely everything into it. And from the very first time most of us saw Kobe, he came with this confidence. And I'm not sure I've ever seen that type of confidence from a kid, but it was built from a work ethic that most of us can only wish we had. Michael Grange said this in his piece on Kobe Bryant's death, and I want to get it right. Bryant's magic was in creating the convincing illusion that things could be willed into existence. Don't be fooled. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, but when talent works hard, you have Kobe Bryant.
How do you want to be remembered?
You know, I said a long time ago, when I was 15 years old, I made a promise to myself and said, at the end of my career, I want people to think of me as a talented overachiever. That I was blessed with talent, but that I worked as if I had none. If I could be remembered that way, that would be pretty good.
Kobe was a flawed man. We all are to varying degrees. And while many are celebrating the 5 titles, the championship moments, and the 81, they are all wonderful. It's not what defined Kobe for me. It was the Mamba mentality. And later on in the show, I want to describe a couple of moments, Sid, that for me personified the Mamba mentality.
I want to go down that road as well with
that Kobe Bryant brought to the table, because it was remarkably inspiring to a person like me who thought himself an athlete. And I stress, thought himself an athlete.
It's a great point, though. We need to have the Mamba discussion.
Oh, my God.
There were 2 Kobes. Tim and I were both very cognizant of all of the families before we break here who were affected by this tragedy yesterday. Way too often over the last 24 hours, we heard the phrase Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and 7 others. There were 9 tragedies. 9 people who perished, 5 families left shattered by this. We wanted to acknowledge all of those on board, including the 3 13-year-old girls who were on their way to a simple basketball game.
As we remember the life of Kobe Bryant, our thoughts and prayers go out to all the families, the Altobellis, the Chesters, the Mausers, the Zobayans, and, of course, the Bryants. May you all find some sort of peace.